You know, one of my biggest convictions, bro, you know, it ain't the stuff I used to be convicted about. You know what I mean? Like when I used to go, like I ain't been to church like 10 years. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, I think the to commune, you know what I'm saying, the faith is important, by the way. Um, I'm just out being the church, and sometimes those two clash. But my biggest conviction before used to be like the elementary truths, you know what I mean? Conduct management, right? But as I've evolved and as I've matured in my faith, it's I get convicted on how to treat people, bro. You know what I mean? Like for real. Like I get convicted, bro. I get convicted on how I deal with a person holistically. You know what I mean? Like it grieves my spirit, bro. You know what I mean? And that's why my music sound the way it do. That's why I aim to do community. If I had it my way, everywhere you see me, you're gonna see people. You're gonna see brotherhood. You're gonna see, sistering. You're gonna see discipleship. You're gonna see that because that's what it say. The Bible say create disciples. That's where I'm convicted at. You know what I mean? And so my convictions have evolved, bro. It used to be not. I used to be scared to miss the offering plate, bro. Well, if I didn't tithe, oh my God. Now, if I don't wake up in the morning, bro, and spend time with God and give my 10% of my day, my time, my whatever, I feel like my whole day off. So it's just your faith matures, right? Like foundationally, you have your foundational truths, but then they mature. So now at 36, I'm in a whole different, I see things a lot differently now. You know what I mean?
What's up? What's good, y'all? I'm blessed to be your host, Caleb Smith, man. Today's show, very blessed, man. We have a young legend in the building, sold out show here in Atlanta, man. When we Evolve tour, AJ McQueen. How you
Yes,
feeling,
Lord.
brother?
Glad to be here, brother.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
Bro.
man. Indeed. Bro, if you could go back, let's say 5 to 10 years and talk to AJ McQueen of the past, what would you tell him now having a sold out show here in Atlanta?
I would say trust yourself. You know what I mean? Trust yourself. I would tell myself to trust myself. I've always had like a deep inkling of greatness, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like even when I was young, I just knew that I didn't know what it would look like. You know what I mean? I didn't know that, but it was always a feeling and a thought that things will get better. It was always a feeling, a thought that uh, something's good's gonna happen. I've always had that. You know what I mean? So just say trust yourself. You know? Yeah.
Being real, authentic, seeing you, I know that that's something that, you always say authenticity. Why is that so important to you? Especially during this time right now where you got artists that's always trying to be clickbaiting and going viral for all the
Yeah.
reasons. Why is that so important?
I feel like anything that's not authentic doesn't last, man. Like, you know, I've always appreciated classics though. You know, even as a youth, like I've always appreciated classic cars, vintage clothes, things that have texture. You know what I'm saying? Things that have, because texture means story. You know what I mean? I'm at a place in my life. I don't want anything. I don't say I want anything that looks new, but I want to get it. If I get something new, I want to scuff it up real quick just to see what it's made of. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's how I feel like with my music, like with who I am. I'm authentic, brother. You know what I'm saying? It's just a real deal. You know, my music should come with a seal, with an authentication card. You know what I'm saying? Like, because this is raw. And in today's time, it's important because, it's so oversaturated with, falsehood. You know what I mean? Everything AI and lab grown and, You know what I mean? And I don't like that. I'm not like that. And I make music that's not like that either, you know.
Texture
Excuse me.
means story. What does AJ McQueen's texture look like in your own words?
Say it again.
Texture, if it means story, what
Uh-huh.
does AJ McQueen's texture look like? Your texture in your story.
My texture, it looks like grit, bro, like and you know, persistence. You know, so I'm a very persistent man, bro. Like I'm so persistent. I have to sit myself down and have a talk with myself and tell myself no. But I have to tell myself no. Nobody's gonna tell me no. And if I want it, I'm getting it, bro. Yeah, I'm relentless. You know what I'm saying? So it looks like persistence. It looks like relentlessness. It looks like you know, uh, you know, falling down 7 times and getting up 8. You know, it looks like never giving up. You know what I'm saying? Like it feels like that. It sounds like that. You know, like um, and it just I know I'm cut from a different cloth. I used to be hesitant to say those things around people. You know, um, because you know I equally while I have a thirst for greatness, I equally don't have a desire to uh, look down on people. So it's just finding that space to live in. Like I don't have a desire to walk in a room and be the center of attention. It may seem like that because of what I do. I actually don't. I'll put somebody else on stage before me anyway. I'll 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 give somebody else the microphone. You hear me? I don't have no desire to be like. But I think that's the complex with all of the greats, right? I'm a big superhero fan. Like I love Marvel. When you look at the storylines, most, if not all of them, nobody wants to be the superhero. You hear me? Think about it. You know, Spider-Man got bit by a spider. You know what I'm saying? And then tried to figure it out. He in the room like, oh my god. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do I do with this newfound power? Uh, I mean, we can keep going, right? Right? Like I love that about Marvel or just superhero movies in general. It's this discovery of like, man, what do I do with my hands? Like I'm strong now. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm smart, right? Nobody just, oh yeah. No. You know what I mean? And I feel like the great ones, it was bestowed on them. It's damn near like a curse. You can shake it if you wanted to. You know, my first book I wrote about it, I called it the Jonah complex, which is the fear of how great you might be. You might be great. So you don't want to go peek in that, you don't want to go peek in that room because now you're responsible for what you saw. You don't want to discover your own greatness because now you can't act like you're not no more. You hear me? You don't want to raise your hand in school because you know you're smart. And you know when you answer that first question, the teacher gonna be looking at you, expecting you to be smart for the rest of your days. So you can't play dumb no more. You know, some of our women hide their beauty because they don't want the responsibility that comes with beauty. So they'll tone it down. You know, but I'm done toning it down, man. You know what I'm saying? I am who I am. I am what I am. I'm made in God's image. And it's not a God complex at all. It's I'm a vessel, bro. I'm just a vessel, bro. Like I want God to use me. But God can't use you if you scared. If you have to, you know, because we have free will, you have to invite God. You gotta say, hey, send me, like pick me. You heard me? And then let God be God in your life. So that's what it looks like, man. It looks like, you know, somebody who discovered their greatness and discovered their gifts and you know and deciding to use it for the glory of God. Yeah.
Bro, seeing you, man, like I see peace. You know, hearing you about talking about going to the gym and previous talks,
Mm.
interviews, all of that. Talk to me, man. Why is that like so important of having physical peace, but also mental peace,
Yeah.
spiritual peace of being mind, body, and also soul? Going to the gym, doing your music, artistry, all those things at the same time.
You know, I people ask me all the time, like, you know, man, you seem very peaceful. I say that's because I fought a lot of wars, you know. We only know peace because of war. We wouldn't know what to compare it to. You know what I'm saying? So I fought a lot of wars. I fight wars to this day. You heard me? It's a battle of the mind. It's a battle of the spirit. It's a battle of humanity. It's a battle of, you know, your own self-worth. You know, it's a battle. And the things that I like to do as I battle, you know what I mean, is, I'm gonna be honest, I used to hate the gym, bro. Sometimes I still don't like it. You know what I mean? I don't. Sometimes I'm like, you know, but um I like going to the gym and I like pushing myself because I do this thing where I put myself in situations that make me feel small. That's the only way you know your capacity. You heard me? If you're in a room full of people that, you know, where you've eclipsed them, you heard me? If you at the gym and you lift the same ways, you mastered these 60s, so it's nothing to you. You heard me? You don't know your capacity until you lift up them 80s. And you're like, okay, all right. You know what I'm saying? I see what's going on here. You know what I mean? So the piece that you may see, or you know, or people that may experience from me, it ain't a fake piece because I will tell you, you know what I'm saying, the wars I fight. I'll tell you what I went through this morning. I'll tell you I didn't want to get out of bed. You hear me? I don't want to present ultimate poise like I just always had it figured out. I just stayed longer than you in the gym, or I stayed longer than you in the studio, or I just, you know, I read more books. But it ain't that because I'm better than you. It's just where you stopped that, I kept going. You heard me? When you stopped showing up, I was still there. You heard me? Um, so yeah, the gym, bro. You know, cold plunging is one of my favorite things to do, bro. I love cold plunge, bro. And I hate it. I hate it and I love it. You heard me? I hate planks. But I got a boxing trainer and he make me do planks. And he'll tell you every time I'm doing planks, I'll be screaming, I love this. I love planks. I hate planks, bro. You heard me? But you gotta do what you hate until you love it. You know what I mean? So the gym, you know, cold plunging, um, and then you know, I psych myself out a lot of times, you know, because I'll go in the gym and I see dudes that's, you know, they down there with the 120s, just throw it up there. I like that though. I like the feel. I like looking at them like, all right, yeah. You heard me? There's beauty in it. That's how you grow. You are, I love talking to people that's smarter than me, bro. I love being in rooms with people that got more money than me. I love seeing black love and seeing, I'm like, cause I start to visualize and I start to imagine and reimagine even. But if you only stay in your neighborhood, you stay in the house, you go, you're never comparing and contrasting, then you don't know your capacity. So that's why I love it, bro. I love it, man. I challenge myself every day, bro. They told me after I got shot, they told me the doctor said that I would be on a cane for the rest of my life. And it was like, well, you can't do anything physical, you know, like jumping or basketball because I got damaged cartilage. So I was supposed to be, you know, yeah, but you know, we gonna test them limits. You know, so I've been testing the limits my whole life, you know. And I love doing that, bro. I love it, man. And obstacles are just opportunities for God to prove how great you are. That's all an obstacle is. You know what I'm saying? It's just an opportunity. You hear me? And that's how I look at it. So I don't run from anything, bro. I mean, don't get me wrong, I pick my battles though. I'm not no tough guy, bro. You hear me? I don't want to be no tough guy. I don't. I want to be a wise man. I don't want to be no tough guy. You know what I'm saying? Like tough guys don't laugh, they don't live long. You hear me? And I think the beauty of life, um, that we often mistake is learning from our predecessors, learning from those that came before us. You hear me? As I walked in your space, I see a lot of the greats on the walls, and some are not. They're not here no more, and what have you. And I think that the reason why we live in a time frame where they, you know, may have met their demise, assassination, or death, what have you, is to learn. It's to learn, right? So I just learn. I'm a sponge, bro. I love to learn. Every master know that he's also a student. So when people see me and they see, oh man, nah, bro, I'm a student of somebody, bro. I'm learning too. You hear me? I'm always learning, bro. You know, and but I love challenging myself. It's very important to challenge yourself every day. Don't get me wrong, we definitely humans. So but I'm not saying be a robot, because we human beings, not human doings, right? So you gotta find the be. But when you decide greatness, when you want to do more than go to work, eat, use, use the restroom, this, that. Like when you want to do something, it's gonna require for you to go beyond and your limitations, and that's what I do every day, bro.
Come on, brother. Getting shot, man, as a teenager, that can cause a whole lot of trauma. How do
Yeah.
we not let previous traumas affect us, moving forward? Because to your point, texture, it tells story, but like, how do we make sure that the past traumas of getting shot or going through this, going through that doesn't affect AJ of 2025?
In my first book, I wrote there's a chapter called intentional growth versus accidental growth, right? We have those growths in life that we have those moments where we grow, but you only grew because something happened and you grew from it, right? You know what I mean? So it's an accidental growth. If this didn't happen, if you didn't have this baby, where was you? If you didn't have this breakup, if they didn't fire you, if they didn't, right? And don't get me wrong, there's beauty in that too. But I think life is about getting to a place where the growth is intentional. You plan this out regardless what happens. You hear me? I planned this. I went to read them books. I went to study. I planned this, right? So I think that's how we navigate trauma is intentional growth. Don't get me wrong, we're gonna all experience traumatic things. You know what I'm saying? But it's about how you respond to trauma. You know what I mean? Like it's about how you. One of my favorite books is "What Happened to You" by Oprah Winfrey and Bruce D. Perry. Um, was Bruce D. Perry and Oprah Winfrey is more of a commentary on it. So there's a part in the book where you have this war veteran. You know what I mean? I believe he fought in like Vietnam or something like that. You hear me? And he he's in a relationship and he has real bad PTSD. And they were on a date and I think he heard a tire pop or something in the car. And so he curled up in a fetal position, you know what I'm saying? He thought he was still in Vietnam on the war. And so the woman he was with, I believe her name was Sally. I could be wrong, but they went to see took him to a therapist, a doctor. And he went in there, he was like, Doc, well, she told him what happened. She told the doctor, she was like, yeah, this what happened. Woo. And he was like, Doc, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? And he was like, it's not what's wrong with you, it's what happened to you, you know? And I think that's how we have to approach our trauma. What happened? Why did this happen? You know what I mean? And I believe when you understand why this happened, it becomes more of a strength. It becomes a superpower even. You know what I'm saying? Like back to superhero movies, Spider-Man got bit by, that spider. It was some time in there they wrote him figuring it out like, man, I got bit. Like, but then when you realize why this happened to you or what happened to you, it becomes a muscle. It becomes your genius. Your trauma becomes your genius now because now it's your testimony and it's your story. But if you don't understand that, it becomes wasted trauma. And it's a lot of people that have just wasted trauma. Like things are happening and we not learning from it. We not using it as a testimony. We just sitting in the happiness of the trauma. So you in the trauma unit on the third floor at Ben Taub, and you just sitting there in the bed, just and keep on replaying that the other night. The other night, when so and so broke up with me, the other night when when my mama said I wasn't gonna be none, the other night when I got shot, the other night, You know what I'm saying? Like I stopped replaying that, bro. And what happened to me when I was a child has been the flagship of my whole story. But at one point in time, my trauma was all I talked about. I never forget. It was years ago, a long time ago. It was somebody. It was a young lady. It was somebody I was dating or something. And she was like, "You don't have to keep talking about you got shot." And I was like, "I don't." You hear me? And it hit me at first. I was very defensive at first because that's my testimony, right? That was my. But your trauma becomes a springboard if you use it the right way. You know what I'm saying? But you got to decide: is it going to be wasted trauma? Is it going to be wasted energy? Energy can't be created or destroyed, only transferred. So what are you going to do with it? Okay, this happened. What are you going to do with it? Like, what are you going to do? You know what I'm saying? And I believe our gifts and our trauma are woven into each other. I really think that. I can't prove it. Um, there's no scripture for it. But I think that. That's my philosophy. I think that trauma and gifts, they pass each other and they do something. And when you let it woven together, you find your purpose.
I agree, bro, because to your point, in the Bible, every important character had to go through something.
Oh yeah.
Every person. So
Yeah.
hey,
There's
you're
no
right.
reward without risk, man. There's no, what I mean? Like trauma bursts things though. It does. It bursts, relentlessness. You know what I mean? But you gotta decide, you're gonna have a villain story or a hero story. They both the same people. They just it was just two people that responded differently. Both had trauma. One responded this way, one responded that way. That's how you get superhero and the villain. You heard me? So, you want to be a villain. You want to villainize yourself. You want to villainize your everybody that didn't do nothing to you. You taking out on them what your mama did. They didn't do it. You heard me? You taking out on him what your daddy did. They didn't do that. So now you are villainizing everybody after because you're not dealing with yourself. And as a man, it's important for me to not do that. I've done it though. I'm not going, man, I'm keeping gangster, bro. I done been a narcissist, bro. I done been a manipulator, bro. I done been a cheater. I been a liar, bro. I done been a thief. You hear me? All that. All of that. Been though. Cause that ain't my makeup. That ain't my body. You know what I'm saying? I'm God body now, but that's been my makeup. It was a pattern of it. You know what I mean? Now I wake up and I chase righteousness, bro. You know what I mean? There's days I don't hit that mark though. You know what I mean? And then we go watch the game tape. You know what I mean? We go back to game tape. We go talk to coach. What did I do wrong today? How did I let this get me out of my body? How I treat people like, one of my biggest convictions, bro, you know, it ain't the stuff I used to be convicted about. You know what I mean? Like when I used to go, like I ain't been to church like 10 years. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, I think the to commune, you know what I'm saying, the faith is important, by the way. Um, I'm just out being the church and sometimes those two clash. But my biggest conviction before used to be like the elementary truths, you know what I mean? Conduct management, right? But as I've evolved and as I've matured in my faith, it's I get convicted on how I treat people, bro. You know what I mean? Like for real. Like I get convicted, bro. I get convicted on how I deal with a person holistically. You know what I mean? Like it grieves my spirit, bro. You know what I mean? And that's why my music sound the way it do. That's why I aim to do community. If I had it my way, everywhere you see me, you're gonna see people. You're gonna see brotherhood. You're gonna see, sistering. You're gonna see discipleship. You're gonna see that because that's what it say. The Bible say create disciples. That's where I'm convicted at. You know what I mean? And so my convictions have evolved, bro. It used to be not. I used to be scared to miss the offering plate, bro. Well, if I didn't, now if I don't wake up in the morning, bro, and spend time with God and give my 10% of my day, my time, my whatever, I feel like my whole day off. So it's just your faith matures, right? Like foundationally, you have your foundational truths, but then they mature. So now at 36, I'm in a whole different, I see things a lot differently now. You know what I mean?
Man, Flow State, that was one of my favorite songs, bro, on the project. Hey, you went
Thank
crazy. In that song, though, hearing you break down about if I make this and if it's not about uplifting children, or even if it is, will they play this on the radio? How is that overall experience as an artist that's making good music that has substance in it, but then at that same time wondering, is this gonna get picked up by
you. Yeah.
mainstream? How is that whole experience for you?
You know, I gotta give credit where credit's due, man. I know he's not the most popular person right now, but um, Kanye, he said it first, and contextually, you know, if I talk about God, my record won't get played, huh? And it's take away from my sins, probably take away from my end. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember when I first heard that. I remember where I was at. I started questioning things as well as a human, as an artist. I'm like, huh? So me, when I was writing that, I wasn't thinking about Jesus Walk at that time. But when I played it back for myself, I had a moment where I was like, it's kind of, there's times I have those questions. Like a lot of my music is just not a lot. All my music is my real thoughts, bro. You hear me? And with me being a stoic, like there's some people that hear my music and you know, they be like, man, I didn't know you think about stuff like this. Yeah. I just don't, I'm not so like I'm no chatty patty. You hear me? Like I only talk when I need to. I used to talk all the time. Now I don't waste knowledge, bro. I don't waste like if we ain't talking and it's not going in the right, I don't want to talk about my questions about the industry. Or I don't want to talk about theology. What we finna do? What are we finna talk about that for? And like I don't talk about the Bible, bro. Like what? Why? Well, if it's not building, like, or I don't want to talk about politics.
You just arguing after a certain
Right.
point.
I don't.
Yeah.
I used to though, bro. I used to waste my breath, bro. So in flow state, I really was like some like when I was writing, I'm like, dang, like, you know what I'm saying? You know, when Hollywood see me like, uh, uh, um, if I uplift children, with like I really was like thinking about that. You know what I mean? Could that be my questions? Because I navigate the industry in my own way. You know what I mean? I went to my first BET like awards experience recently. You know what I'm saying, with the BET Media House and just the networking and the vibes that came with it, and so I'm glad I went. 'Cause I had a real big misconception, not a big misconception. I had a bad experience. A lot of people don't know I was on BET at 19, so I was introduced to like industry people and all that early, and it just rubbed me the wrong way. And so I made it my mission to like stay away from like as much as I can. Like, no, I don't wanna go do that. I don't wanna hang around rappers. I don't wanna do that. And but then I went and I'm glad I went because it showed me that there's where I'm supposed to be a light at. And there's other lights there that's still trying to figure out there's lights looking for lights. That's like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? So that was my question in flow state. And that's generally how I feel because I know that I'm one of the greatest, bro. One of the greatest MCs. And I say that very, you know what I'm saying, humbly in respect of those that come before me, but I'm there. But I know this is an industry and this is it's a game, it's politics. So, in flow state, I'm just asking to my, in general, like if I uplift the children, like will they play this? Will Hollywood see me as an A-list? But then I answer my own question right after that bar. Will I make an A-list your top rappers platforms. I'm on the heels. Tell them play the real. I ain't worried about no views. I ain't worried about no likes. Told my dog believe in God. Told him don't believe the hype. I'm running through the industry. I run through your whole team. I seen your close friends, boy. Yeah, your whole circle green. Like you know what I mean. I answer my own question. I'm not naive. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Indeed, brother. What does AJ McQueen's flow state look like?
Man, that's a beautiful question, brother. Man, let me think. Hold on. Let me think.
You good.
I don't want to answer. I want to get no fake answer. I ain't never been asked that. What does my flow state look like? What does it look like? It looks like. Ooh. Can I come back to that?
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
I want to think about that. That's a good question.
Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah.
When we evolve, why did you choose that title? Because that's a very powerful title. When we
Man,
evolve.
you know, uh, the album was actually almost named something else. You heard me? The album was almost named "Too Valuable to Crash Out," and so if you listen to the album, you'll hear a lot of references to Crash Out. Like you'll hear it. That's because when I first was writing it, you know, that was gonna be the title. So I was just like making sure I referenced it, but also that was how I felt in my life. You know what I mean? So, but it as the album continues to be written, it evolved from that because I was really just spiritually. I feel like Too Valuable to Crash Out was more so a singular uh, thing. It's not a movement. It doesn't light a fire and that fire continue to you know go. You know what I mean? And I like I'm a movement person. You know what I mean? I'm a call to action person, right? So um, then I landed on When We Evolve, and it's more so because it's a question, but it's a statement, but it's a call to action. You hear me? So when we evolve, like what, right? But then when we evolve, like when we evolve, and then it's like when we evolve. And then I wrote the song When We Evolve to go with the the album title, and I want to answer the questions. You know what I'm saying? And it's just a beautiful thing. I'm glad it grew from that title though. Looking back in retrospect and seeing how everything is happening. And that's the thing about I encourage artists to trust, like listen. But don't get me wrong, I got like brethren, I got like my team. I bounce ideas off my people, you know what I'm saying? For sure. But they know how I am. At the end of the day though, I'm going to make a decision. So I give you as much input, as much. And you don't get me wrong, your input could very well play part in my decision making. But it's my decision making. And I think that's a beautiful place to be. It's inclusive. It's all that. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna sit with myself, make a decision. I'm glad that it came to When We Evolve for sure.
I like that, bro, because as a man, as a leader, right, having a team, you can have counsel, right, where you got a person for this, a person, for video, for that. But like, how do you still trust AJ's voice too? Because sometimes we've seen artists where, they're like puppets almost, where this person's making all the decisions. But instead, you can still take counsel from your team,
Yeah.
but then still know, okay, I still got to trust this.
Yeah. No, it's been like that, since the beginning of time. I think when you study the greats and all those, even the kings had counsel. You know what I mean? Even the president will sit there with the cabinet. Ain't nobody, bro. Like I say, a lot of people want to sit here and present this me, my. Like, don't get me wrong, bro. I am when I'm by myself. I'm by myself, like physically, but I'm not. The goal is not to be by myself, like mentally and emotionally and spiritually, even. Like, wise counsel is important, bro. It's very important to have a team. It's very important to have people. I'm big on my team, bro. Like, what I'm saying, I wouldn't be able to do all this without them. And they like, don't get me wrong, I know my purpose, but it would be a lot harder without the right people. And I'm not naive to that, right? But it's also having the right people around you that trust your leadership and trust your direction. Because again, at the end of the day, I see it as my responsibility to make the right decision. Not just as in business or in artistry, but when I become a husband, when I become a father, all the things, right? Like I will, talk to my wife, talk to my partner and things. But as a man, I see it as my responsibility to make the right decision, because if this all fails, I'm gonna take the hit for that too. I'm standing in front of it as a man too, because I'm shielding my people and my family from the decision that was made. So if I gotta die for this, I gotta live for this. You heard me? So yeah, I'm standing up and making that decision. But I got wise people around me that are equally gifted.
I think about Nip, hearing you talk about, standing for something, all of that, independence, that as well. What impact has Nip had on your life as an artist, as a man, businessman, all those things?
Man, you know, I didn't even know, like, before Nip passed, I had just got hip. You heard me? Like a little bit before that, you know what I'm saying? And it was people that was telling me, like, make sure check this person out. Woo, woo." And then I was like, okay, cool. Somebody put me on, and instant resonation, you know what I'm saying? Like instant, bro. Like, and I think what really inspired what really inspired me the most was the fearlessness, bro. You know what I mean? Like the fearlessness of, like, I'm gonna tell y'all something. Some of you may know. You know, the eyes don't lie, bro. The eyes don't lie. You heard me? You want to see where a person is spiritually and mentally? Study the eyes, bro. Watch the shiftiness. Watch how they look down at the floor. Watch, right? Pac, Marley, Nip, Asada Shakur, Lauren Hill. There's a lot of others, but they have powerful eyes, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like powerful eyes. Like they talk like you can see it. So I knew that was like my kindred spirit, you know what I'm saying? Because people always tell me the same thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, but Nips, I mean, the music is a whole nother, we could do a whole interview on that, on how the music, you know what I'm saying? But it's really like, the speech, you know what I'm saying? The rhetoric, the oratory, the ability to take a thought and transfer it. You know what I mean? Like that's powerful. So nah, that music, everything, bro. Poise, confidence, you know what I mean? Business acumen, you know what I mean? And then when he passed, bro, I'll be lying to say I didn't feel it as if I knew him. Did. You know what I'm saying? Like I was really like dumbfounded. But excuse me, it's sad that, well, there's something to be told about, man. There's something to be told about greatness. The reason I'm hesitant on even saying it because, you know, a lot of our great ones don't live that long. You know what I'm saying? So, so I'm batting a dozen.
I'm already picking up what you're putting down. Nah, I get it.
But if you don't live for nothing, you die for anything. You know what I'm saying? You gotta stand for something. You gotta stand on what you stand on, bro. And my team, anybody tell you, bro, I ain't folding. But it's about standing for the right things. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, Nip died in front of his store. Right? Right. So, you know, um, I did a video years back about the difference between being murdered and being assassinated. You know, you know, you should want to live so great that whatever happens to you, people will question your death. You could have died eating a piece of chicken.
Conspiracy theory.
Ah, man, they assassinated
Hey, they
him.
got him. Yeah.
Ah, man, the Colonel Kentucky Fried, they put something in the food. They were like, nah, bro, he literally just choked on a chicken bone. Nah, not him. He's too great. Too great. You know what I'm saying? But that's how I'm living. I'm living like whenever I go from her, they gonna conspire and they gonna make a million stories. That's how great. You know what I'm saying? Nip was, bro. You know what I'm saying? And so, like I say, bless up to him. Rest in power. Shout out to Black Sound. I had the privilege of meeting Black Sound. You know what I'm saying? Marathon Burger, and just again, but the whole poise, the energy. Victory Lap, one of my favorite joints, but also just going back into his catalog and I think Nip encouraged me or inspired me to slow down. So my music is I feel it now. You heard me? Like I got some joints where I got a few joints now where you gonna hear like me bar your head off, like lyrically, like, he can rap. But the rest of it is so feeling, teaching, you know what I mean? But I'm cut from the same cloth though, you know what I'm saying? Pac, Nip, all of them, bro, like, and I'm not afraid to talk. We live in such a digital age now, bro, where everybody they wanna talk on their phone, they don't talk to people in real life. They don't look nobody in the eyes. I'm an orator, bro. I used to be in speech and debate when I was in high school, forensic league, bro. I used to travel the country, and just do speech and compete. I got some trophies too. You hear me? Like hey, you know what I mean?
Brother Malcolm, huh?
I used to really, really like so. And then I studied communication in school. You know what I'm saying? That's why I got my degree in with a concentration in speech. And at my graduations when I got congressional certificate from Congress. You know what I mean? So, um, I just people lucky that I don't really show it it's showing on its own, bro. I don't need to do that. I used to like be an opportunist. I used to force things. I used to try to chase opportunities and run down things. I don't do that, man. I'll be at the house watering my plants and walking my dog. You know what I'm saying? And my team say, "Oh, we got this, we got this, got this," or I'll tell them, "Hey, it's tour time." You know what I mean? But I literally record in my yard. Like I hang the mic from the ceiling and just rap in my front room, bro. I don't leave the house. You know what I'm saying? I don't leave the house, bro. For real. Like I don't do that no more. But it's the Most High still saying, okay, I'm finna put you in front of the masses. I'm gonna make your name great amongst the masses. This is all God's doing, bro. So,
Man, talk about that of just finding peace and stillness of being at the crib chilling, watering your plants, walking your dog, recording at home, opposed to always being out,
yeah.
where you got trouble outside, problems, it can happen, all of that. How do you find peace and stillness?
Bro, I had to learn it. You know what I mean? Cause I used to be a busybody, bro. You heard me? Like just busy. But that's why I bought a lot of plants, man. Cause plants have taught me to be rooted. Like literally, bro. I learned more from plants than I learned from my mom and my daddy. You hear me? Like just, stillness. Sometimes I'll wake up in the morning, there's a new leaf that grew overnight. You heard me? Um, Patience. Some of my plants I've had 5, 6 years already, bro. You know what I mean? And there's beauty in that, especially as a black man. The world ain't gonna give you permission to slow down, bro. You know what I mean? You don't get that from the world. You get that from tapping into. That's not even a masculine energy, that's a feminine energy. You get that from tapping into your feminine energy. You get it from finding the right woman. You get it from having a daughter. I feel like that's feminine energy, bro. Like slow down, like relax, be at peace. You know what I mean? Like masculine energy is go, build, go, attack, attack, attack. You hear me? And but there's beauty in that. The way of the superior man helped me understand like the polarity of my masculine and feminine energy, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm masculine frontal for sure, but I've been able to weave in and get what I need from the feminine nature, nurturing, grace. That's a feminine trait. You know what I'm saying? Love. That's a feminine trait, bro. Masculine trait is war and action and just do it now, and keep going and die trying. Like that's so I've learned that, bro, from reading, you know what I mean, and being held accountable by women. Truly. Like I gotta be gangster about it, bro. Like it's women that have held me accountable and just helped me slow down. You know what I'm saying? I thank God for that, bro, because without it, I would run myself to the ground. You know what I'm saying? But don't get me wrong, even though I'm at the house, I'm putting numbers on the board. You know what I'm saying? I'm putting numbers on the board, bro. I just don't. I try to operate within my realm, bro. I don't really want to, bro. I don't want to go to the event if they invite me, bro. If they didn't invite me, I'm not going. If I don't like, if I don't like you, I don't want to come to your event. If I don't know you personally, I don't want to hang with you. I don't force myself. See, that's how we get outside of our purpose, because you forcing yourself. You hear me? Why you going there? Why? You know what I'm saying? Like, but also it's finding the balance of getting outside the house too. Connections, money, resources. It's not found in the house. But I'm not saying necessarily get out the house physically. Mentally, you got to be outside of there though. So I'll study abroad. I read the right books, bro. I podcast in the morning. You know what I mean? I use that phone like a tool. You know what I mean? It may look like I'm always, if you see me, you may look like I'm always on it. I'm working. You know what I'm saying? I'm working. You hear me? And as an artist, there's beauty in cultivating what you have. Like I used to complain about what I didn't have, bro. Oh man, I need a studio, man. I need to go to I can't do this because I got this. I can't do this because I can't do that. Man, slow down, look at what I do have. A computer, a microphone, internet, get busy, figure it out. And I just start rapping in the crib, bro. Like just rapping. Now I can't miss. I can't miss, bro. Like, don't get me wrong, things fluctuate because that's how algorithm work, but I don't even yield to the algorithm. It's God over algorithm, bro. It's God over algorithm. I cannot miss, bro. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I want to ask you a question about flow state, about my flow state.
Yeah. Hey, what's up?
That's my flow state, though. My flow state is, you know, waking up. I like to wake up before, like when I'm my best self is when I wake up before everybody.
Heard you say that before.
That's when I'm my best
It
self.
gotta be dark outside.
When I do that, I'm telling you, the whole day is mine. You hear me? There's nothing and nobody can stop me today. You hear me? I went to sleep when it was black. I woke up black. You know what I'm saying? But that, and it's really like taking that time. Instead of running into your day, bro, like how you expect to how you expect to be optimal if you run into the day? You wake up, and as soon as you wake up, you're talking to people.
And you rushing.
I don't talk to none of y'all.
Yeah.
You heard me? So I wake up early. I don't touch my phone until like 9 o'clock. Like that's when I'm my best, right? Like when I say touch my phone, I mean like apps and things like that. I don't eat until like 12. You heard me? And that's fruit. Some gym. You heard me? Journal. Shower. Sing in the shower. You know what I'm saying? Light a spliff, and then I get to everybody. Then it's like, all right, what y'all want? But by that time, I'm amazing, bro. I'm amazing. I'm amazing. What's up? It's easy. What you need? Okay, cool. You hear me? No problem, no worry, small thing. But I like to flow into the day. But I just got there in my 30s. My 20s, I was a renegade. I'm running to anything and everything. You know what I'm saying? I'm running it over. I had none of this stuff I'm telling you about. Cause I ain't finna get up here and just act like, oh yeah, he always know, bro. I was a renegade, bro. I was renegade. I'm running into everything. Head on collision. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna run into me and you're just gonna get energy. And people know what to do to me. They're like, man, we don't even know, we don't supposed to fight you on it or invite you. We don't know what to do because I'm just a ball of energy. I'm still at precise, accurate. You know what I'm saying? I got aim now. You heard me? I got aim. I got alchemy. I got fortitude. I'm precise. I know what I'm shooting at. You know what I'm saying? I know what I'm shooting at. And I don't question myself that much these days. If it's making me question myself a little too much, I gotta move it from around me. You know what I'm saying? Like if it's making me feel insecure, you know, if I like a woman, but she's making me question the things I can't control, you gotta get on. I know I'm 5'10", and I like it. You know what I'm saying? I'm cool with it. But if being around you make me question a little too much, it ain't even you, love. It's me. But I gotta block you. Send you on your way. Because you making me question the things that I can't do nothing about. And I don't think that's what we're supposed to do. That's how you stop your progress. You questioning. You looking down. It ain't, I'm not blaming on a woman, but just blaming on anything. Like, you know what I'm saying? If this job, this opportunity, this friendship is making me question a little too much, I know I ain't rich. I know it. It ain't bothered me until I met you. Okay. I gotta move you from around me. You know what I'm saying? I gotta move you from around me. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. But that's my flow state, bro. Solitude. Solitude over loneliness. Loneliness is the 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 fear of being alone. Loneliness is like the sorrow of being alone, while solitude is the glory of being alone. So I sit in my solitude. I'm in a solid mood. You know what I'm saying? About to start a fast, 7 days, no solid food, juices and water. Like I'm flowing and nothing can stop me when those days are like that.
Come on,
So I
brother.
want to revisit that. I know you
Yeah.
asked me earlier.
Hey, man.
Okay.
Listen, I appreciate that. Very last question for you. You've been great, man, this entire conversation. What do you want for fans to gain from listening to the project and also pulling up during the tour as well from AJ McQueen?
Um, I want the fans and the people them to like, you know, gain perspective and you know, it's like shopping at farmers market, bro. That's what I am. I'm a farmers market. Straight from the ground, no pesticide. You heard me? It probably got some dirt on it though. It probably, you know, it come in boxes. You know, it ain't got no nice wrap on it. I ain't got all that. I ain't got all them bells and whistles, man. It's just raw and uncut. And I want people to appreciate that, you know, because it's going out of style. It's going out. They got AI artists now. You hear me? I just saw. I don't want to say Buddy name because I don't want to do that. But I just saw an artist that you know, I wouldn't say I'm a fan, but I like what he got going on. And he said, yeah, one of my biggest songs, you know what I'm saying? Like I didn't even um you know, he I don't want to say his name because I like I said I like the artist. I wouldn't say I'm a fan, but I like what he got going on. And I saw like an interview he did and he was like, um, you know, one of my biggest songs, I ain't even write it. You know what I'm saying? He's like I ain't write the verses or the hooks. Um, and I was just like, what? And I'm not saying that people, you know, can't have writers and you know, stuff like that, but I'm a writer, bro. I write every single lyric, every single word, word for word. There's what, 24, 28 letters in the alphabet or something like that.
26.
26. I knew I was somewhere up in there.
Hey, you just 2 up.
That's probably why I failed spelling when I was. No, I'm saying. It's 24 letters. I use all of them in thousands of ways. You know, that's all the alphabet is. All words are just the 24 letters switched around. That's it, right? I use all of them. I write line for line, bar for bar. I write the hooks. I tell the singers what to sing. In some cases, not all the cases, because I also work with great writers as well. You know what I'm saying? Who they pen is, you know, that's why I work with them, because they got a pen on them. I don't want to work with nobody who don't have a pen. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if I do, I'm penning everything. Like, but I'm not gonna, if I don't respect your pen, I'm not gonna take your words and use it like for a hook and have you sing it. It's not happening. But I want my fans to appreciate that. You know what I mean? Because it's you know, it's going out of style, man. You don't know if they feel like that, if they wrote that, how they feel. Every word you ever heard me say, I feel like that in real life. Nobody told me to write this song. I didn't. There's no think tank of songs. I wrote that for myself. When you come to the show, it's an experience, not a show. You know what I mean? For sure.
All right, man. Bro, AJ McQueen, I appreciate you greatly. Where can everybody follow you, keep up with the tour, upcoming projects, all that good stuff?
AJthegreat.com, my website. AJ McQueen on all platforms. You heard me? Yes, that's my real name. I get asked that a lot, bro.
Yeah.
I get asked that a lot. I be like, what?
Hey, that's hard though.
But I didn't, bro. You know, I never knew it until somebody told me, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't even realize, like, none of that. Like, but AJ McQueen on all platforms, bro. And like I say, you know, we it's a movement happening right now. You know what I mean? So you guys got to decide what side of history you're gonna be on. You know, for sure.
Come on, bro.
Yes,
AJ, man, I salute you, brother. Keep up all the great work, man. Substance that's needed, you know, the most during this time period. So,
Thank you,
man,
brother.
I thank you for being a breath of fresh air out there in music, because hey, we need that. Where it's still great music, great information, and knowledge, you know,
Thank
that's
you,
being
bro.
shared. So
Thanks for having
I
me.
salute you, brother, man, for real.
Respect.
Y'all, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Once again, blessed to be your host, Caleb Smith. Until next time, y'all. Peace.